Let's talk wardrobe. Hi, Vicky Kelty here. This is the Language Learning Report Card podcast. I teach English online, mostly focused on speaking, which is what I will be doing today. Speaking. So, I'm going to tell you some wardrobe malfunction stories, but I'll also spin in a few stories about just some wardrobe, let's call them successes. I guess you can be the judge of that. During the pandemic, we made a last minute decision to visit my in laws. And this was after Spain had allowed people to leave their houses. So it was completely allowed. And it was at Christmas time. So it was well after they had, quote unquote, freed us from the lock in. And or the lockdown. I can't even remember the terms from back then, and that's okay because I would not like to relive them. But we decided to celebrate Christmas with my in-laws, and so it was, or was it New Year's? Oh my gosh. Well, as I said, I don't even really want to go back and remember it. So, Christmas or New Year's, potato, potato. I just remember that what I chose to wear for the celebration, which I'm thinking now that it must have been New Year's because this makes a lot more sense, was that we went to have the grapes and say Happy New Year. And I went in my dun dun dun, dun Hello Kitty pajamas. Yep, I was super fancy. Okay, do you consider that to be a wardrobe malfunction or a success story? I think you probably know which way I'm leaning. And if you said success, you would be agreeing with me. All right, my next story is the time that I went to a Kiss concert. Yes, the band Kiss, rock on, people, in my old shoes that I had found. When I say old, I mean from high school. And I was well past university age at this point. So, high school plus university plus adult, that is many years of these shoes having survived. So, thankfully, the mishap occurred before we left for the concert. We were walking out the door and I took a couple steps and realized that half of my shoe had not come along with me. They had become unglued. So I freaked out, but luckily had a pair of flip-flops. And I went to the Kiss concert in a lovely pair of black flip-flops that thankfully went perfectly with my black and white dress. So I feel like I was still in Kiss gear because their main colors are black and white, aren't they? Isn't that the makeup that they wear? So, uh, I don't know. You be the judge. Was this a miss? It was definitely a mishap. It definitely, definitely was a wardrobe malfunction, but maybe it was still a success. Um, Moving right along, we have a story about how sweats are, in my humble opinion, the very best thing to wear as the base for your Halloween costume. Now, I didn't have as awesome of a costume as my sister. I will point out her costume since it was so amazing. She had an orange sweatsuit. So we're talking sweatshirt and sweatpants, orange sweats, head to toe, and black electrical tape around the sweatpants. Can you guess what she was? Yes, that's right. She was a tiger. And that, my friends, is the best Halloween costume made at home that you can get on a dime. But you don't have to throw away your juicy sweats that you had from back in the day. You can repurpose them for Halloween whenever you want. Note, costumes do not have to be scary. I know that's what the Halloween horror movies want you to believe, but as someone who celebrated Halloween for many, many years in lovely Nebraska, I can attest that your costume does not need to be scary to be a successful Halloween costume. Take my word for it and get creative. Okay. I don't think that that one was a mishap at all. So if you voted success, then you voted the same as me. Now, I'm going to spoil this one and tell you this was a big mishap. Such a wardrobe malfunction coming on in this next story. So I was visiting my sister once when she lived in West Virginia, I think it was, and maybe it's Pennsylvania. At any rate, we went horseback riding, and I should specify that the jeans I was wearing, similar to the shoes at the Kiss concert that I mentioned before, these jeans have been around for quite a while. And my mom had fixed them up for me a few times because if you've had jeans for a really long time, you know that they get worn out. So she had patched them up. And as I got onto the horse to go horseback riding, I heard this ripping sound. That's right, my pants ripped while getting onto the horse. Needless to say, I didn't bother to ask my mom to patch those up. I said, it is time to let this pair of jeans go. I think over a decade with the same pair of jeans is good enough. And that's incidentally why I buy more than one pair of jeans, like of the same brand that I like, because, well, you want to have a backup for when these things happen while horseback riding, do you not? Yes, plan ahead, people. And my next story is another mishap, but not so bad, not so tragic. And this one involved me wearing some leggings that I had bought here in Spain. They're nice little black workout leggings. And I had never worn this brand before. So the thing was is that they didn't have a tag in the leggings. So I was oblivious to whether I didn't know where the back and the front were of these leggings. Do you see where I'm going with this story? Yeah, that's right. I wore them backwards. I didn't know I was wearing them backwards. I just basically flipped a coin and decided that one side was the front and one side was the back. And I was told that was inaccurate. So I went into the bathroom, flipped them around, and voila, I had myself leggings put on the correct way. I have to say that I was mildly embarrassed by this, like turning a little red when I found out that I had been walking around town with these leggings on backwards. But hopefully there were other people who didn't know, but I don't know. If somebody like took the time to tell me that they were on backwards, perhaps everybody in town knew. So it's fine. I am grateful that this person told me that they were backwards so that I could go forth and never have to guess which were the front and which were the back of future leggings. And they saved the day for sure. So I now always wear my leggings the correct direction because no, they still don't have tags on them, which I do not understand. So if you've ever had this issue, I would just say the little design thing on your left leg, it goes in the front, or at least that's how mine worked. Moving right along to our last story. And this one, I don't know, it's not really a mishap per se. It's not a mild malfunction. Maybe we could put it into that group. You decide. So I had a pair of boots that um, ankle boots, actually, that I was given by my mom. Thanks, Mom. And they were too big. They were not the right size for her. And it was past the point that you could return them. And so she was like, hey, do you want to keep these boots? Do you want to use them, wear them, love them? And I said, sure, why not? But they were too big. So I did what anybody would do. And I shoved some socks into the front to try and make them fit better. Um, it more or less worked. It was not completely successful because even as you're walking, like your foot tries to push forward. And since the socks are soft, your foot is still able to push into them. And so it's not solid enough to keep your foot from wiggling around in a pair of shoes that are too big. So maybe you have a better solution. I no longer have these boots, so I don't have to worry about it, but that was my hack for that moment. And it's the best I could do, but maybe you can give me a better hack that I can use for next time. And those are my harrowing, well, not all harrowing, but a few were definitely embarrassing to share. So keep them secret. Don't tell everybody. And be sure to share your own wardrobe mishaps, wardrobe malfunctions, and why not your wardrobe successes as well. All right, if you don't want to share some of the more embarrassing ones, you can keep those to yourself, but you could practice saying them out loud and just tell your wall or your cat or your plant all about your crazy wardrobe malfunctions. I hope that you have had a delightful time listening to my stories and that they have inspired you to, well, maybe not inspired you because I don't want you to invent your story, but maybe they have reminded you of some past wardrobe experiences that you have had in your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to wardrobe. And that's all from me. Remember, you can find more listening practice at vickykelty.com. Cheerio. Have a great day. Bye bye now.